Natural disasters are likely to become increasingly common with the rise of urbanization, economic interdependencies, and environmental degradation. As we seek to help affected areas and populations recover from natural disasters like these, we face a tremendous hurdle in the form of a growing funding gap for disaster relief. And this gap is expected to continue to grow as the real value of government and multilateral aid stagnates. The United Nations Secretary General's expert panel, appointed to find solutions to the funding gap for disaster relief, stressed the need to build on the power of business to bring systemic change in humanitarian aid delivery, raise new money, and use it more effectively. The panel suggested that nonprofit organizations can act as natural vehicles for corporate intervention through models of collaborative efficiency. In this paper, we investigate the assumptions underpinning this suggestion. Firms have two main options when donating to disaster relief. On the one hand, they can donate through a nonprofit channel, where a nonprofit organization becomes the firm's implementing partner. The alternative is direct implementation, where the company delivers money, goods, or services directly to victims. We investigate under what conditions the firms that choose the nonprofit channel donate more compared to direct implementation, hence contributing to closing the funding gap for disaster relief to a greater extent. The underlying logic of the paper is that there are multiple implementation challenges when delivering disaster relief, and in some cases, nonprofit experience will be more helpful than firms' experience in overcoming those challenges and therefore being able to deliver more donations. Some of these challenges are logistical. Common obstacles involve the total destruction of transportation and communications infrastructure in the affected area, as well as safety concerns. Another set of challenges are more relational. There's a complex set of actors that get involved in disaster relief, so it can become really difficult to figure out how to coordinate your donation efforts with others. To test our hypotheses, we analyze every major natural disaster that occurred worldwide between 2003 and 2015. We limited our analysis to sudden disasters, such as earthquakes, where you can identify a specific trigger, like the ground shaking, and there is a peak outbreak that is reached within 30 days. That means we studied a population of almost 4,400 sudden disaster country pairs that affected over 1.3 billion people in 179 countries and inflicted economic damages of over $1.8 trillion. We use synthetic control methods to test our hypotheses. What this means is that we take a firm that donated through a nonprofit channel, and we look at what the donation amount would have been had that firm chosen direct implementation instead. There are two key takeaways from our results. First, we do find that going through a nonprofit channel has a particularly strong effect on donation amounts in less institutionally developed settings, where the firm lacks local operations. Another really interesting thing that came out of our analyses, however, was that in practice, firms more often than not chose the channel that yielded lower donation amounts. So they would give directly in less institutionally developed settings and when they lacked local operations, rather than relying on nonprofit partners, and vice versa. This raises really important questions about incentive alignment and communication across the business and nonprofit sectors, which may hold the key to filling the funding gap for disaster relief in the years to come.